So what is reading? What is reading? So reading is the ability to comprehend, the ability to understand the passage. Okay. Now remember, every reading passage is a combination of the writer's thoughts, the writer's idea, the writer's claim, the writer's opinion. So all of these have been portrayed in the passage. If I'm a writer and I'm writing on a particular subject matter, let's say traveling, everything I know about traveling, that is what I will put in each of the paragraphs. Now, when you come across this particular passage, as you're going through each paragraph, you're learning from my idea, you're learning from my thoughts, you're learning from my the way, my concepts, what I believe, my claim about what traveling is. You're learning from me. That's exactly how reading is. Okay. Now remember that the goal of reading is for you to understand what the passage is talking about. So reading is the ability to comprehend or understand a given passage. Now, there are different levels to reading. You know, at the elementary level, what we do is that we read with the hand, tracing. That's at elementary level. By elementary, I mean at a lower class. Okay, it's a lower class. Now, at this particular level, what we do, what we do now is reading with the eyeball. At this level, we don't have to do any form of tracing anymore. We read with the eyeball. Okay. Now, like I gave a definition, when you read, what you're trying to do is you're trying to understand, you're trying to comprehend the information, the content portrayed by the writer. That's what you're trying to understand, basically. That's what reading is. And then remember that when it comes to reading in IELTS, we have academic reading and we have general training reading. They are usually not the same. They are usually not the same. Okay. There is a distinction between academic reading and general training reading. Okay. I'm going to get to that very soon. Now, in IELTS reading, okay, there are usually three reading passages. There are usually three reading passages. And as I'm explaining this format, that's also how you will see it on exam day. There are usually three reading passages. Okay, you have reading passage 1, you have reading passage 2, and you have reading passage 3. Okay, that's usually how it is titled: reading passage 1, reading passage 2, and reading passage 3. Before, we used to title it as section 1, section 2, and section 3. You understand? So for assistance, we now had to rename it as reading passage 1, reading passage 2, and reading passage 3. Now, for academic reading, the passages are usually longer than general training reading. In academic reading, the passages are usually longer than general training reading. Also, in academic reading, the passages are usually complex. The passages are usually complex compared to general training reading. General training reading, the passages are usually not extremely complex. Okay? Doesn't mean that it will be just very easy, but then you can't really compare it with the academic reading. Okay? The academic reading is actually very, very complex, meaning that what makes it complex is it is always talking about areas like invention, technology, innovation, historical backgrounds, technological development, scientific observations. It also looks at the aspect of medicine, looks at the aspect of engineering as well too, transportation, and the likes of them. Okay, I'm sure you will know that most of these concepts, if you're not very used to them, you will find them very difficult to easily understand. You find them difficult to easily understand. Okay, that's usually how it is. That's usually how it is. Okay, if you're not very conversant with them, you find it very, very difficult to understand. That's how academic readings. The subject matter in academic reading are usually very complex. Okay. Now, when it comes to general training reading, the subject matter is usually easier. Talks about things that are friendly, societal issues, family or relationship, things that you can easily relate with. Restaurants, it could be on the subject matter of supermarkets, talking about goods, groceries, and the likes, education, employment, things you can easily relate with. And this is because for general training, the aim is for PR, permanent residency, okay, express entry, or job sponsorship, All right. So that's the goal. We know that people that are going towards this route, they really do not have so much time for anything that has to do with education again. So they are writing this based on either job sponsorship or PR, which is permanent residency, or for any other purpose. But it's definitely not academic. And that's why examiners will not bother to set questions that would want to thoroughly engage them all through. Now, for academic purpose, the examiners are aware that these people are still inclined with studies, meaning that they are still going towards the area of studies. And that's why the assessment will be thoroughly on things that will be very complex, such as those subject matter that I mentioned. Okay, I'll equally mention that the passages are longer in academic tests when it comes to reading. In academic reading, the passages are longer, while in general training reading, the passages are shorter. The content is easy to grasp in general training reading, while in academic reading, the concepts are not very easy to grasp. Okay, so I hope this is very, very clear. Now, when it comes to marking, the marking favors the academic students more than the general training students. How? For the fact that the passages are difficult and also longer, examiner will want to reward the effort of an academic student more than the general training students. So the marking grading or the marking scheme are not the same. They are usually not the same. Let me give an example. Now, if an academic student got 30 over 40 out of the reading, from the reading rather, and then that will be 7.5. But if a general training student got the same 30 over 40, he or she would have 6.5. Why? Because of different grading pattern. The 30 over 40 in academic reading is always higher compared to the 30 over 40 in general training reading. That's the marking scheme. And that's why I'm explaining this concept one after another so that whichever one you're going for in future, you will know. So you won't feel maybe there is a shortchanging or a cheating. No, there's nothing like that. There's really nothing like that. Okay, it's just the fact that the markings are quite different. Now, if this is clear, now let's proceed. Now, I mentioned earlier that the formats are the same, meaning that academic will have 3 reading passages, general training will have the same 3 reading passages, but the lengths are not the same. Okay, the contents are not the same. One is harder than the other. All right, and then also remember that you'll be for each of the reading passages. For example, reading passage 1, reading passage 2, and reading passage 3. So for each of the reading passages, you'll be given 20 minutes. For instance, in reading passage 1, you're given 20 minutes to read and answer 13 questions. The same thing is applicable for general training. In reading passage 1, you'll be given 20 minutes to answer 13 questions. In reading passage 2, you will also be given 20 minutes to answer 14 questions. While in general training, in reading passage 2, you'll be given 20 minutes to answer 14 questions. Now, For academic, in reading passage 3, you'll be given 20 minutes to answer 14 questions. And then in general training, reading passage 3, you'll be given 20 minutes to answer 14 questions. In total, you have 60 minutes, which is 1 hour, to answer 40 questions. So within these 40 questions, examiner might decide to give you 13 questions, 13 question, 14, or 14, 14, 13. They will just randomly twist the numbers of questions. However, everything will sum up to 40 questions at the end. All right. So expect 1 hour for 40 questions, and each reading passage will take 20 minutes. Take 20 minutes. Okay. Now, if this is very much clear, let's proceed to another aspect. Now, in the reading test, some of the passages can be narrative in nature, some can be descriptive in nature, some can be expository in nature. Narrative simply means the passage is purely telling a story. Descriptive is trying to tell how something looks like, be it a human being, be it a place. By expository means that it's trying to explain a particular concept to you. So whichever format the passage takes, all you have to do is what? Try as much as possible to understand what the writer is talking about. And like I explained in listening, the same thing is applicable to reading. Okay? What you're doing in reading is that you're trying to extract the answers from the paragraphs. Let me say that again. Like I explained in listening, the same thing is also applicable to reading. You're extracting the answers from the paragraphs. Because ideally, the writer would hide the answers in each of the paragraphs. All you have to do is what? Try as much as possible to what? To extract the answers from the paragraphs. I hope this is very, very clear. Now, another thing again in the reading test is there are two basic processes that you need to apply when you're reading. There are two basic processes. The first one is called the skimming process. Okay, the skimming process. You must know how to skim, because if you look at it very well, the time is not enough. 20 minutes for reading passage 1, 20 minutes for reading passage 2, 20 minutes for reading passage 3. So for some people, the time is so short. Okay, so you're not really doing a detailed reading, because if you're to do a detailed reading, such as study reading, what happens is that you will spend more time and then you end up not answering all the questions. So what is advisable for you to do, okay, is ensure to read the questions first, and then try to locate a specific paragraph where you feel the answer can possibly be found. Then extract your answer from there. And remember, all the information you need to answer the question is right in the passage. You don't need any external information. Your external input doesn't matter. Your external input doesn't matter. Okay? External input doesn't matter. Now, there is another important thing for us to take note of. There's another input for us to take note of. Now, during the reading test, apply skimming. What does skimming mean? Skimming is the ability to go through a particular paragraph or a particular passage as fast as possible in order to comprehend the information. Reading is a quick form of skimming is a quick form of reading. Skimming is a quick form of reading in order to have an overview, an overall idea of the passage. That's basically what it is. Skimming is a quick form of reading in order to have an overview of the passage. So you basically go through either the paragraph or the passage in order to get an idea of what the paragraph or passage is talking about. Okay. And then another thing again is, apart from skimming, you also need to be very good with scanning. And what's scanning? Scanning means when you go through the question and you identify a keyword from the question, locate a specific paragraph where you can possibly find the answer. Now, use the keyword, okay? Though examiner might decide to tweak the vocabulary or decide to tweak that word, okay? Now, use that word as a search engine. Those keywords, use it as a search engine in the paragraph. Use those keywords to scan the paragraph. For example, let me give you specific name of a person would definitely be in the passage. Specific name of a location would definitely be in the passage. Specific date or a year, 1992 or 1994, would definitely be in the passage. Specific name of an organization would definitely be in the passage. You can apply scanning in this context. When you find a specific name of any of these that I've mentioned, locate it in any of the paragraphs and then go through that paragraph to extract your answer. Like I said, there are two processes, skimming and scanning. They work hand in hand. You can apply them. Now, if this is clear, now let's proceed. I know we all know how to read, okay? But I would like to still give an input. I would like to still put in, okay, a very good strategy on how to read effectively, and things to avoid when you're reading too, and also how to answer questions effectively too. The first thing is, when you're reading, avoid neck or head movement. Let me say that again. Whenever you're reading or when you're about to start reading, avoid neck or head movement. Meaning that you shouldn't be moving your head from the left side of the page, tracing the wording to the right side of the page. If you're the type that, if you know that you're one of the students that is still doing something like this, try to avoid it. Stop it. The correction to this is ensure to read with your eyeball. Do not adjust your head or your neck from the left side of the page to the right side of the page. It's a poor reading technique. It's a poor reading technique. The correction is read with your eyeball. Read with your eyeball. Okay? Allow your eyeball to scroll through the words. Don't keep adjusting your neck or your head from the left side of the page, tracing the wording to the right side of the page. And then you continue again from the left side of the page, tracing the wording to the right side of the page. And then you continue again like that, if you can imagine what I'm talking about. As neck or head movements should be avoided. People that read fast, okay, if you watch them closely, they read with their eyeball. They capture the words with their eyeballs. Remember that there's a ciliary muscle holding the eyeball bound. It enables it to go up, down, left, and right. Now, number two, whenever you're reading, avoid reading one word. Don't read word for word. Avoid reading one word only. Do not read word for word. Don't read one by one. Read at a stretch. Capture the words in clusters. Capture the words in chunks. Very, very important. Don't forget this. If you're the type that still reads one by one or word for word, there's a problem. You need to stop it. The next point, whenever I'm not just teaching this because of IELTS alone. This is things that you definitely need to learn in a real lifetime. Now, another one again is avoid finger tracing whenever you're reading. Anytime you're reading, avoid finger tracing. Okay? Avoid finger tracing or finger pointing. Don't point to the words as you're reading. Don't use your finger to start tracing the words as you're reading. It's very elementary. Yes, it slows the reading process down. It hinders understanding. Whenever you're reading, instead of using your finger to trace in order to detect or to know where you are, use your eyeball. Use your eyeballs. Trust me, your eyeball will enable you to follow through as you're reading. It enables you to do that. You can put all of this in practice and you observe a difference. And if you've been used to the previous pattern, it might just take some few days if you put it in practice for you to be able to relearn it. Now, the next one, which is also very important, is avoid any form of vocalization when you're reading. I'm teaching you this so that when you engage the passage, you won't encounter any challenge at all. So that when you engage the passage, you won't encounter any form of challenge at all. Now, avoid any form of vocalization. Now, by vocalization, I don't mean you reading out loudly. No. I'm actually talking about inaudible sounds. Inaudible sounds. Avoid it. Like mumbling it out. Avoid it. Don't even say the wordings out. The correction to this aspect of sub-vocalization or vocalization is try as much as possible to internalize the reading, meaning read in your mind, read inwardly. Even the person beside you should never know you're reading. That's why you don't need to read out. People that usually read out, they don't allow them in library most of the time. Yes, and you can't go for this exam and then you start reading out. So if you're the type, please unlearn that habit and relearn this. Unlearn the habit and relearn this particular one. So don't vocalize. Another point again, I hope you're writing most of these important points that I'm sharing with you, not just for the purpose of IELTS, like I keep saying. It's a general life strategy when it comes to reading. Now, another one again is whenever you're reading and you encounter a big vocabulary, probably you're not used to or you don't know the vocabulary, I'm going to advise you to do something. Ignore the big vocabulary. Because on exam day, you won't have access to any dictionary. Nobody will give you access to check any dictionary anywhere. So ignore the big vocabulary. All right. Now, let's assume that the big vocabulary occurred in a paragraph. Try to understand what the paragraph is talking about. I'm sure by the time you understand what the paragraph is talking about, okay, it will be very clear to you the contribution of that big vocabulary. Use contextual meaning. Contextual meaning simply means that that particular vocabulary is serving a contribution to the entire paragraph. That paragraph you're seeing is contributing to the meaning of that paragraph. So by the time you understand the paragraph itself, which is your major aim, that particular vocabulary that seems difficult, okay, you understand the meaning. You understand how it is used in the paragraph. That's the concept of contextual meaning, meaning a particular meaning associated with the way the sentence is constructed, or a meaning associated with the way the paragraph is constructed. And the vocabulary will be adding to the meaning of the paragraph itself. So you don't have any reason to start checking any paragraph or any dictionary anywhere. You don't need it. Focus on the meaning of the sentence or meaning of the paragraph where the vocabulary occurs. Now, if that is clear, in reading, be mindful of synonyms and paraphrases. Yes, be mindful of, synonyms and paraphrases. Be mindful of synonyms and paraphrases because it will definitely happen, just as it is in listening if you have been practicing. The same way it is also in reading. Examiners will definitely use synonyms and paraphrases, meaning that the way the question is constructed, examiner will want to make a tweak in the vocabulary. This is really to know if you truly understand the passage. I hope you're writing this down. Very, very important. Another thing again is adhere strictly to instructions. Now, for every reading passage or for every section, for example, reading passage 1, reading passage 2, and reading passage 3, or section 1, section 2, and section 3, as the case may be, always pay attention to the instruction. Read the instruction, know what you're supposed to do. Most especially when you come across fill in the gap question, sometimes you may be asked, write one word only, or write 2 words. So you have to pay attention. Very, very important. Adhere strictly to instructions. Now, in order to beat this 20 minutes, the strategy is this. Read the question first. All right. Locate a specific paragraph where the answer is found and quickly skim through that paragraph so that you can extract your answer as fast as possible. If you want to use scanning, scanning is very important when you have a specific name of a person or organization, a specific address, a specific year, all those specific information. Once you have them in the question, hold on to them, locate them in the main passage itself. Find a particular paragraph that is talking about it. Read through that paragraph and pick out your answer. The answers are in the passage. Remember, it is reading comprehension, ability to understand that specific paragraph and then extract your answer. Now, apart from that, in the reading test, most of the answers usually occur sequentially. Most of the answers usually occur sequentially. For example, in reading passage 1, in the first paragraph, the first paragraph can give you an answer for question number 1, question number 2. Once you've exhausted the first body paragraph in answering question number 1 and question number 2, pay attention to the second body paragraph in answering question number 3 and question number 4, and continuously like that. For some people, the mistake they usually make is that they would actually read paragraph 1, extract answer, paragraph 2, extract answer, and then when they get to question number 5 and question number 6, they'll start reading from the beginning again. No, you don't have to start the reading from the beginning again. Just continue from where you stopped. Any paragraph you've exhausted in extracting answer, that paragraph is gone. Move to the next paragraph and keep extracting answer from the next paragraph. If you're done extracting answer from that particular paragraph, move to the next paragraph again. Then extract your answer continuously like that. Don't start from the very beginning because that will take your time. That will take your time. If you're doing that, that will take your time. And any particular paragraph, which I know is not possible, but any particular paragraph you could not find an answer from, no problem. Just move to the following paragraph, which is the next one. It is very, very important what I'm telling you. Okay? Don't forget that. For most of the question, not all, most of the question would occur in a chronological or sequential order. Now, let's continue. Now, another important thing about the reading, let me share my screen so that we can take a look. This is, can you see an example of, look at an example of general training reading. I want to show you something. Here's an example of general training reading. You can take a look at it. Here's an example of general training reading. General training, not academic. Can you see an example of general training reading? Can you see? So this is an example of general training reading. You can see the title. Yes, always read the title as well too. The title will give you an idea of what you're expected to do. The title will give you an idea of what the passage is about. You can see tips for giving an effective business presentation. These are, once you see a passage like this, just know it's general training. It's not as complex as an academic passage. And look at the instruction. The instruction says, read the text below and answer questions 15 to 22. Always read the instruction. Very, very important. And you can see that there are subheadings: preparation, dealing with presentation nervousness, okay, interacting with your audience, structuring effective presentation. Now, each question will be centered on each of these. For example, you might be asked, what is the best way to make a presentation? Just come to this first one that is talking about presentation, read it and extract your answer from it. You may see another one again that has to do with dealing with presentation nervousness. What is the best way to, I'm just forming a question. What is the best way to deal with presentation nervousness? Just come to the second paragraph and extract your answer from there. Your answer is simply there. The third one is interacting with your audience. What is the best way to interact with your audience? Go through this. Go through this specific paragraph and you'll find it. You will definitely find it. So this is an example of, okay, a general training passage. And it's very, very important that you know the differences. When you see the title, you will know. Okay, now, having explained what reading is, the format of the reading, the processes of the reading, then how to read effectively and strategies. Now, let's move to the question types in the reading. Let's move to the question types in the reading. Now, I'm going to be showing you the different question types in the reading. I'm going to be showing you different question types in the reading. So let's take a look at the first one, and I hope you're also writing it down because it's very important. So here is the first one. It is called the true false not given question. The true, false, and not given question. I hope you can say it. It's called false and not given question. Okay. Now, anytime you come across the true, false, not given question, have it in mind. You will see the definition written there. What true means, what false means, and what not given means. Okay? And then you would also be given statements. Statements. As you can see, there are statements from question from number 1 to number 6. There are statements there. Okay? Number 1 has a statement, number 2, number 3, number 4, 5, and number 6. They all have statements. So what you're expected to do is what? Take a look at the statements. Now, try to understand what true means. What does true means? True means if the statement, that is the statement you're giving, if the statement agrees with the information in the passage, that makes it true. What does false means? If the statement contradicts, that is, if it goes in opposite to the information in the passage, that means it is false. What does not given means? If there is no information on this at all, if there is no information on this, meaning that what the statement is talking about is not present in the passage. The ideas, the meaning of the statement is not present in the passage. That's what not given means. Now, there are strategies on how to attempt true, false, not given question. I'm going to explain 2 important strategies. I hope you're writing them down. Number 1, when you read each statement, try to find out how many ideas are there. Let me say that again. When you read each statement, try to find out how many ideas are in the statement. For instance, look at this number 1. It said, more children are injured when walking or cycling to school than when traveling by car. there are two ideas here. What are those two ideas? The first one is more children are injured when walking or cycling to school. Second one is what? Than when traveling by car. Please, can someone help me mute man picking? Let me see if I can possibly. Okay. Someone should help me mute it so that it doesn't distract. Now, like I said, identify the ideas in the statements. Okay. Number two thing is this: put the statement in a question form. Let me say that again. Put the statement in a question form. The answer will rush to you. Please, can someone mute him? You can make me admin. I'll just be muting them. I can just mute them once I make it, because his noise is going to be distracting us. So, like I said, the first thing to do is what? Try as much as possible to identify the ideas in the statement. Secondly, put the statement in a question form. How do you put the statement in a question? Now, look at this now. More children are injured when walking or cycling to school than when traveling by car. Are more children injured when walking or cycling to school than when traveling by car? Is that what the passage is saying? If that's what the passage is saying, that means the answer is true. Okay. Now, if the passage is saying that more children are injured when traveling by car, it means the answer is false. So try to find out what the passage is talking about. So what you're doing basically is that you're comparing the statement to the passage. Okay. Now, there will be a particular paragraph talking about walking and cycling to school. So compare the statement to that specific paragraph. Please, can someone mute this person? I think there's a way to mute them from the beginning. It's better. I'm sure this person is not paying attention to what I'm even saying. So now, another thing again is compare this particular statement to a specific paragraph talking about children being injured when they are walking or cycling to school. Okay? The two ideas will work. The 2 points I shared, the 2 strategies I shared about true, false, not given question. Identify the
make excuse me.
because obviously this person is distracting the class and he's not even paying attention. He's just having a discussion with someone. All right. So let me quickly just reiterate. I mentioned 2 important strategies to apply here when it comes to true, false, not given question. Now, when you read the statement, identify the ideas present. 2, put the statement in the question form. All right. Now, what you're basically doing is that you're comparing the statement to a specific paragraph talking about it to know whether it is true or false or not given. So by now, you know what true means, you know what false means, and you know what not given means. All right. Now, if this is very clear, we'll move to another question type. Now, there is another question type. I'm going to share that just a few seconds. All right, so this is called matching heading questions. I'm going to share that now. As you can see, this is called matching heading questions. So in matching heading questions, all right, we would have a list of headings like this, and they will come in Roman numerals. I, V, and so on like that. Okay. Now, another thing again is that I want to show you the second one that has to do with still on matching headings. You can see the second one here now. Now, each of the paragraphs to be lettered. Anytime you see a structure like this, just have it in mind that this is called matching heading question, and it's very common to both academic and general trading. This is matching heading question. Each paragraph will be lettered. The first paragraph will be lettered A, the second paragraph will be lettered B, the third paragraph will be lettered C, the fourth paragraph will be lettered D, the fifth paragraph will be lettered E. So each of the paragraphs will be lettered. There are two important strategies that I will be sharing here. Very, very important here. Now pay attention. The first one is you are expected to go through, you're supposed to go through each of these headings first. That's the first thing to do. Go through each of these headings. Haven't gone through them, then come to, you can see, come to the first heading. That's the first paragraph. Come to the first paragraph. This first paragraph here, come to it. Now, read the first paragraph. This strategy I'm explaining is called paragraph approach. It's called paragraph approach, whereby you read the first paragraph, try to understand it very, very well. Once you understand it very, very well, come to this list of headings here. Come to this list of headings. There is a specific heading among this list of headings that matches with that first paragraph you've read. There is a particular heading here that corresponds with the paragraph you've read. So what do you do? For example, you can see question number 28 is what? It's talking about section A. Section A means paragraph A. All right. So which particular heading corresponds with paragraph A? Put the Roman numeral there. If it is IV, which is what? Some confusing information, just put IV there. Once you're done, move to the second paragraph. Read the second paragraph. That's paragraph B. Make sure you understand paragraph B very, very well. Okay? When you do, then come to this list of headings. Select a particular heading that matches with paragraph B. The same way, go to paragraph C, all right? Read paragraph C very well. Make sure you understand what paragraph C is talking about. Then come to this list of headings here. Select a particular heading that matches with paragraph C. This is called paragraph approach I just explained now. The second strategy I will be sharing is called topic sentence approach. Topic sentence approach. A topic sentence is a sentence, okay, that is found in the paragraph. The function of this topic sentence is that it helps to summarize what the paragraph is talking about. It stands as a heading inside that paragraph. That's a topic sentence. And remember that the topic sentence can occur either at the beginning of the paragraph, or in the middle of the paragraph, or at the end of the paragraph. For instance, look at paragraph A. There is a topic sentence in this paragraph A. How will you know? Now, that topic sentence, okay, must be a sentence. That's number one. Number two, it must be able to summarize what this paragraph is talking about. It has the capacity to summarize what this particular paragraph is talking about. And then three, it is very mobile. Mobile in the sense that it can be found either at the beginning, or in the middle, or at the end. You understand? So that's usually how you can identify a topic sentence. So once you find a topic sentence, what do you do? Now, simply lift the topic sentence from the paragraph. Lift the topic sentence from the paragraph. Use it to compare. Use it to compare this list of headings. Trust me, there will be a particular heading among this list of headings that matches with the topic sentence. Be mindful of synonyms. Be mindful of paraphrases. Now, I've been able to explain two important strategies that you can apply when answering matching heading questions. First one is paragraph approach. Second one is topic sentence. I want to believe this is very, very clear. Now, let's look at another question type. Let's look at another question type. That'll be very, very useful. So the next one we'll be looking at is called multiple choice question. I'm sure we're used to multiple choice question right from listening. So the same approach for multiple choice question in listening is also applicable here. Is also very much applicable here. Now, let me just show you. Okay, this is multiple choice question. I'm sure we're familiar with multiple choice question. Now, for multiple choice question, what do you do? Like I explained in reading, go through the question. Okay. Now, when you go through the question, in the options, try to eliminate, if you have 5 options, try to eliminate 2 wrong options. Okay. If you think 2 is too small, you can eliminate 3 wrong options. Then compare and contrast the remaining 2 left. By the time you compare and contrast them, it becomes clear which particular one is appropriate, which particular one is the right answer. Multiple choice question is very straightforward. Okay. And then sometimes too, for multiple choice question, the writer might give you a clue. For example, you might hear things like, according to the introduction, what do? Go straight to the introduction and pick out your answer. Now, you may also hear a clue such as, in paragraph 2, the writer makes a claim about his traveling. What do? Just move straight to paragraph 2. You'll definitely find the answer there. So there's always a clue for multiple choice question regarding the reading test. Examiner asks you, in paragraph 4, the writer stated this and this and this. Just go to paragraph 4 and then read through it. You will find the answer there. Once you find the answer, come back to these options. If you have 4 options, eliminate 2 wrong options, compare and contrast the remaining 2, and pick the most appropriate. If you have 5 options, eliminate 3 first, compare and contrast the remaining 2, and pick the most appropriate answer. These are important strategies that I'm sharing with you. Don't forget. Then if you don't have any clue at all, what you do is, when you read the question, identify keywords, all right, and then locate a specific paragraph where you'll be able to find the answer. That's called scanning. Now, the last question type that we'll be looking at basically is called fill in the gap question. I'm also sure we're familiar with fill in the gap question, but let me just show us a sample of how a fill in the gap question would look like. Okay, let me show us a sample. Now, we discussed fill in the gap question while I was teaching listening. I'm sure we're familiar with that, but let me just portray. Okay. Now, this is an example of fill in the gap question. It can come in any particular format, but it's still filling the gap. Okay. So take a look at this. Let me bold in it. I hope we can see it better now. So this is an example of filling the gap. So you're expected to fill in a specific word, all right, in this blank. Now remember that filling the gap can occur in different formats. It can come as summary completion. It can come as normal filling the gap. Okay. Which other format can it occur as? I think these are basically the two. It can come as summary completion. It can even come as table completion too, yes. It can come as table completion, whereby the filling the gap is infused in a table. It can occur like that. They are all still filling the gap, basically. All you just have to do is what? Extract the answer from the paragraph. to fill it in. Be mindful of synonyms and paraphrases as well too. For example, when you read, psychologists have traditionally believed that a personality dash. Hold on to keywords. Psychologist, you will find that in the passage. Like I keep telling you, there are ways to hold on to some keywords. If you find psychologists, okay, read that particular paragraph that contains psychologists and try to see what they believe that a personality is. In this case, now you have choose no more than 2 words. So we're expected to write 2 words as the maximum answer, while the minimum can be 1 word. Don't forget. All right. Now, these are basically the question types involving reading. You see, yes, no, not given, not very common. Okay, it's not very common. However, it's talking about the claim of the writer. So you locate a particular paragraph to identify the claim of the writer. It's not a very common question type. So there's really no need dwelling on it. The ones that are very compulsory, you see true, false, not given, you will definitely see it on exam day. Multiple choice question, you will see it. Fill in the gap question, you see it. Matching headings, you will find it. You will definitely find that in the questions on exam day. All right. Now this is 8:05. I'm going to take questions. So if you have any question at all, you can just simply type it. I will see it. You can simply type it. All right. If you have any question, you can simply type the question. So I'm just going to take a few questions and then we'll call it an end. All right, so there's a question from I think read one. Yeah. Let me go through that. Thank you, Mr. Prince. I'm really learning a lot. Please, can you explain how to determine what the topic sentence is once more? Okay, so for the topic sentence, when you're reading a paragraph, pay attention to each of the sentences in the paragraph. There is a particular sentence that will stand as a title. You know how a title will stand, like how a title will be represented. It will stand like a title or like a heading in that same paragraph. When you see it, another characteristic again is that that title will be a summary of the entire paragraph. Do you understand? Like everything the paragraph is talking about is summed up in that particular sentence. And then your next question is, can there be more than one topic sentence in the paragraph? No, 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 no. Every paragraph is entitled to just one topic sentence. There cannot be 2 topic sentences in one paragraph. Okay, so I hope I've been able to answer that read one. In a sense, that you said that in the reading test questions, most of the answers occur sequentially. But what happens when the answer doesn't occur sequentially, sir? That's usually how it happens. Okay. For example, now, let me give an example. Question number 1, you can't go to the last paragraph to start looking for it. It's not possible. You can't go to the second to the last paragraph. You have to focus on the first paragraph. For question number 1, you focus on the first paragraph. Even, let's assume, for example, now, let me give you a practical sense of it. If the first paragraph has about 6 sentences, okay? If I'm able to pick my first answer from the first 2 sentences, do you think I'll leave that paragraph? I won't leave it. Question number 2, I will still find the answer in that same first paragraph. So where I stopped, okay, that line 2 that I stopped, I'll continue from sentence 3, sentence 4. It could possibly be from sentence 4, I'll find the answer for number 2. I'll still don't leave that paragraph. After writing my answer for question 2, I will continue with sentence 4 and sentence 5 and even sentence 6. Can you see what I'm trying to give you the practical sense of it so that you understand what we mean by the sequential occurrence. Examiner cannot move question number 6 and put the answer in paragraph 1. No. It's usually not done that way. That's why I say most of them, not all, would occur sequentially. I hope this is clear, innocent. Who else again? Because on Monday, you're going to be practicing. You're going to be practicing reading. I remember assignment is this weekend, Saturday and Sunday, you're practicing listening. Then on Monday, you're practicing reading. That is before having our class at at 7, you also have practice reading because I will ask you what your scores were. So tell me any question again. If you don't have any question, it means it is clear. If you don't have any question again, it means it is clear. Uh-huh. All right. So I think okay, I've seen another one. Good evening, Mr. Obinna. I do not have any question for now, but rather acknowledge your good teaching skills and patience. Thank you. Yeah, thank you, Chinyere, as well too. I really appreciate you. Thank you. I'm sure that when you start practicing, you will definitely come up with one or two. Okay? Because remember that at the end of it, I'll still have a revision class. I'll still organize a revision class for us to do, whereby if you have any question in any of the modules, be it listening, be it reading, be it writing, then you can still ask. Okay? Yes, you can still ask. I'll still have a general revision class. Okay? Yes. Still have a general revision class. Don't worry about that. Okay, yeah. Read one. You second the acknowledgement. Yes, thank you. Thank you. I really appreciate it. Rita, yes, it is. Thank you very much for another wonderful class. Yes, I appreciate you. Thank you so much too. I try as much as possible to make it as simplified. So start practicing. You can also request the reading material. It's in a PDF file. Yeah, I'm sure it will be sent to you so that you can start practicing. I have to give out that for those that are interested in 40 official IELTS materials for your courses. Yes, Tycoon. Aqua, thank you so much. Yeah, thank you to Che Dozier. Thank you. Emmanuel, thank you so much. Thank you. I really appreciate. Yeah, thank you, Innocent. I hope you understand the concept. Follow it like that, sequentially. Okay? You would get the answer. You will definitely get the answers. Okay. Um, Thank you for the acknowledgement. Thank you for the question. I'm also appreciating you for your patience. Um, I also appreciate you for your time because it's not easy. Some people are somewhere doing one or two things, but you had to make this sacrifice. And remember, any sacrifice you're making in knowledge, all right, is never a waste. I'm going to say that again. Any sacrifice you're making to gain more knowledge is never a waste. Don't forget that. It's never a waste. This is a general subject. Everything I'm talking about, you will need it one day, one time. All right, Chukudi, thank you so much, sir, for the good teaching. Thank you. I appreciate you too. Appreciate you. Thank you so much. All right, so this is 8:14. Um, so we're meeting on Monday. Please don't forget. All right, where I'll be able to ask you questions about your listening scores and your reading scores. Don't forget. Very, very important. And please keep practicing. Keep practicing. Okay. Thank you so much. And let's have a good night.